Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Geek podcast. We are your hosts, Joel and Sebastian, and today we will be chatting with Kelly Norton, COO of ChargEasy. ChargEasy is a pioneering company dedicated to enhancing the electric vehicle charging experience. Their mission is to make EV charging more accessible, convenient, and user-friendly for both EV owners and charge station hosts. So let's dive in and hear how ChargEasy is helping to make sustainable energy a reality for everyone. Welcome to the podcast today, Kelly. So before we get started, why don't you tell everyone about yourself and your journey to ChargEasy?
Well, I started off with ChargEasy about the middle of 2023 when the entire EV concept came to life. I joined on the onset as a chief of staff, just trying to organize the company. And when the whole app was starting the foundation of being built, the owner, Jay Bowling, who is our CEO, he masterminded this entire project on an airplane traveling across the world.
So yeah, pretty cool. So I've had some research to do on it. So before we get, so can you share a little bit about the ChargEasy and creating a community-driven EV network, and basically what is ChargEasy? For you to give like an elevator pitch, what is ChargEasy?
ChargEasy is basically the Airbnb of charging stations. Think
Okay.
about the revolutionizing of having people walk into your home and renting out their home. Well, not just renting out their chargers. Right now, we currently have about 40 million different EV owners across the world, and we're not accessing their charging. So why not open up their charging units in their current home to make them passive income? So from that perspective, we are on the mission to networking, opening up a system very similar to Airbnb, where we're revolutionizing the charging stations within people's homes and their residential businesses around the world.
Gotcha.
So, what are some key features that make the ChargEasy app so user-friendly for EV drivers, especially those that are first-time users?
Well, it has a geolocating system that actually adapts to anywhere in the world at this time. We are incorporating with our version 2 a Connect system just like Airbnb, where people can schedule and pre-schedule their interactions where they want to go ahead of time instead of currently in-house. And the electric vehicle will automatically connect to a machine. So it has geolocating precision inside the actual app itself. We are extending out to CarPlay as well, so you'll be able to soon get it on your computer in your car, and it'll say this home has ChargEasy. It's patent pending. It will actually the patent should be finalized at the end of 2024, which we're really excited about, which will be the first ever patented product to actually allow people to make that passive income from home, basically changing the landscape of EV and opening up the communities to be able to utilize and make passive income from home.
So I have a level 2 charger in my house, and I'm sure Sebastian has one in his house. So how easy is it to get set up on the platform? So in case someone would come to my house and charge, I get set up like that. How easy is that to work? And what are the benefits to me becoming a host?
The benefits of you becoming a host is basically you download the app. You can download the app just for the EV and information alone. But if you become a host, which you get to set your price, you get to set the time that you're available to utilize that platform. So if you're a night owl, you don't have to worry about, if you want to have it in the daytime, you can do it strictly. And we offer a seasonal increase. So let's just say you live near a big Gillette stadium. and your house is near there, you can upcharge for a 48-hour period prior to that game so that you can accommodate event planning, which is really good. And we're in the process of creating an entire community surfaced around our technology.
Awesome.
Cool. So how does ChargEasy leverage data to enhance the user experience and then help host optimize their earnings?
Well, actually, we have an integrated software which will allow you to understand whether or not how much you're using, where you've been, how much you've spent on ChargeEasy, how much you're actually anticipated to spend based on where you're going, so that we can leverage the analytics to understand booking patterns, revenue generation, and enable you to fine tune what your pricing is in the area of which you are becoming a host. And who doesn't want to make passive income? Let's just say you got a brand new car and you want to offset that vehicle. I mean, you can make anywhere from $100 to $300, and that's almost paying for your actual monthly bill. So it could really be dramatic, especially in this today's economy.
So, kind of a follow-up question for that. Does the host set the rates, or is that how does that set? Like if
The host does set the rate. Let's just say you again, a level 1 will probably be a lot more expensive than
yeah.
a level 2 because you
Mm-hmm.
actually have fine tuning.
Mm-hmm.
We are actually offering a upgrade on our website, so we have all the tools. Let's just say you need an extension or an adapter or any of the tools that you need to maybe even upgrade. Um, Ultimately, you can set the price based on your area so that it's a very communicable thing, right? Because you're not going to have the same prices here in Las Vegas that you may have in LA. The prices may go up considerably in a dense population over there in LA, where finding a charger is a lot more difficult.
Awesome. So, everyone is starting to use in their cars, kind of getting away from the onboard navigation, using more like Google Maps and things like that. Can you tell us about your plans, how to integrate services like Google Maps or Apple Maps or like some smart home systems to enhance the ChargeEasy app's functionality?
Actually, that app is already integrated into our system. So once you have found your charging place or charging host, now we have both commercial and public stations already integrated into our system, and we are in the process of data populating all of the hosts that are starting to come into our software, and we are expanding that to from West Coast, Las Vegas, LA, and because it's a high dense area for electric vehicles, we are integrating that. It's already integrated in our software. So once you find it, it will actually, if you click on I want to charge here, it will take you and tell you how far away it is, what the integration is. And I would say one of the best features about it is if you're visiting, let's say you're coming into town, you don't really know the town and you're visiting Aunt Mary, you can literally find a charging host. Let's just say there's one 3 houses down. You don't have to really go out and venture into finding a electric vehicle charging station. It will already be in your map, and you will see something very close to your house. We are really trying to get into the Airbnb market. Right now, there are about 95,000 homes in the Airbnb market that are not fully tapped into. And we're in the process of making them aware so that we can say, hey, it's more passive income, because they're already passive income driven, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just had a conversation with my buddy who's actually building a house here in Hot Springs, and he's going to have a charger at it because he's an EV owner. I said, have you thought about, having this at your Airbnb, to include, to make more revenue? They rent another renting the house, but they could also charge the revenue to rent. And he's like, I
Right.
never thought about that. I didn't know this was an option for me. And I was like, oh yeah, there's companies out here. We're interviewing someone with that you can actually set that up with. So I like that idea.
Yep. And it's very easy to become a host. You basically download the app. You don't have to use the host option. We encourage you to. Basically, you put in your information. We ask for a picture ID. We ask for you to upload a picture of the host location so people have an identifiable house that they will be going to. and you set it up. You set in your payment arrangements if you're going to utilize it and charge somewhere, and that's it. You're really ready to go on the app, and we are really just trying to get the word out that we actually exist and we have the patent to go with it, right?
For sure.
Cool. So what role does customer feedback play in shaping your platform?
I would say customer feedback is essential, because when you have that customer feedback, it helps us curtail the app to ultimately make sure that we are staying true to our standards. It helps us with ultimately um, making sure that our customers are happy. We've found, as we are, like I said, we have just started this. We've been launched maybe about 6 months, have been fully launched. And now we're in the process of gaining downloads and hosts. Right now we have about 1,000 downloads, and we are slowly starting to get out the word. We are in the progress of doing a complete marketing situation across the United States. The owner, Jay Bowling, he is in overseas all the time, and we have just integrated all of our geolocating stuff for overseas as well. And I would say the one thing with the United States that is not commonplace across the world is that in the United States, most of our charging units are inside our garage. And that's kind of like a safe haven for most EV chargers. And they're like, oh, well, how am I going to do it? Right. Hence the reason why we decided to have the extenders and the things like that, the adapters, so that you can toggle from, the J176 over to the Tesla, right? Mm-hmm. So that we have these things available. But in most countries, all of the charging units are outside of the house, which makes ChargEasy a no-brainer for especially outside the country. But we're trying to really cater it to the inside. But we have a strong suit outside the country because they want to already start being a part of it. And that's what we're striving across globally, so that we can ultimately have it integrated into just people's everyday life.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking how would that work for me, because, I have a garage. That's where my EV charger is. If I wanted to utilize something like this, what could I do? But, we just reviewed an EV charging extension cable, like a 21 foot. So I can literally put it underneath my garage, put a hook on the side of my house. They hook it there, and then they just plug in whenever they need to. And when I come home for the day, if I don't want anyone charging it while I'm home, I can bring it back inside and turn it off, so no one can charge anymore. So I'm glad you guys thought through those kind of barriers already to already have a plan for that.
Yeah, definitely. We also found that in overseas in Europe, because they're outside, people just feel the need to come up to your house and start charging, which I found very interesting. No, really, it's a challenge for a lot of overseas.
That would be a little weird for me.
Yeah, and again, it was weird when people are videotaping, going, "What are you doing? That's my charger." I'm like, "Oh, well, I saw it was available, but here's the solution, right? To make that passive income, so that you are ultimately being able to capitalize on someone actually using it."
Totally agree. So another big push we're seeing is the use of AI. So how does ChargEasy plan to utilize AI to provide EV drivers with optimal charging suggestions and to improve their overall experience?
Well, again, most of our technology is automated technology, as we're trying to integrate the energy sector for our software. And we're hoping to tap into other sources of energy, not just the EV charging units, anywhere from solar to natural energy, to ultimately integrate that AI into our software so that it'll automatically detect and pick it up, so we can capitalize on that revenue stream as well.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, what role do you see ChargEasy playing in supporting the shift towards sustainable transportation and then just overall reducing of the carbon footprint?
Oh, we are totally about reducing the carbon footprint completely. We have taken over just think about this. If we have these 40 million people, do you know 80% of people have charging units in their house? It's less than having to install one outside in a commercial area. If we had that 40 million people opening up their houses to having it's sustainable across the world, not necessarily just here in the United States. 40 million people have EV charging already installed in their house. And if we can get them to share the power, we can ultimately put that green footprint and not even really have to overextend. We're really trying to gear it towards the rural areas and the areas like if you're traveling from LA to New York, making sure we're completely sustainable from here to there, where the most rural areas don't have that ability. Now, if they were to come onto our website and purchase an EV unit in a rural area and we were able to harness their power, they would probably make bank because they get to choose how much they charge. Because if they're out in the middle of nowhere, people are like, look, I found one on ChargEasy, I can go there, right?
Mhm.
And it reduces the carbon footprint completely. And we're trying to gear our website to being that sustainable energy going forward in the EV communities.
See, I'm glad you kind of focused on the rural part of it, because that's the issue we have here in Arkansas. You know, we have a lot of we have enough charging along our main interstates to get us by, but if we want to go to certain parts of the states, it gets a little tricky. You want to head up to the mountains, it gets a little tricky. You know, we have people all the time in our Facebook group saying, "Hey, I'm trying to go from here to here. There's no charging." And when people say, "Hey, stop at my house and charge here," or "Hey, go to this dealership and charge there," it'd be a lot easier if there was an app like this to say, "Hey, listen, I'm going to Mountain Home, Arkansas, and there's no level 3 DC fast charging between here and Mountain Home, Arkansas. Or once I get up there, I don't know how to charge to get back. Would there be a way for me to find out how to charge at a level 2 location, someone's house or something else, to get myself back?" So I'm really excited that you guys are kind of focusing on the rural application of this of ChargEasy.
Yes, absolutely. I also think that if people realize it only costs about $1,000 plus an installation fee to get it up and running, it could make you money upon money upon money for future passive income, which is very exciting.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that you at ChargEasy are facing scaling this up, and how do you see the EV charging landscape evolving?
Like I say, let's say one of our biggest challenges is ensuring consistent availability of charging stations in lessly dense populated areas.
Mhm.
Overall, having that presence in rural communities is essential as we move forward in our total budget and our plan. We are in the process of increasing our charging units that will ultimately be out there for everyone to take advantage of and get that rural areas, get the networks charging over all of that. We want to make sure that people have the ability to purchase them and get the tax credits and get their charging station up. It's probably the best time before any of the rebates are changed going forward. And like I said, 85% of the states have rebates for your charging station. So even if you spend $1,000, you'll probably get close to like a $5,000 rebate just for purchasing one unit. And if it's a rural community, you can actually take it's per unit. It's not per 5 units, it's per unit.
Mhm.
So having that extra tax credit will be beneficial to anyone wanting to jump into this industry, just like the Airbnb industry and purchasing houses. People do it all the time. But for the EV community, why not jump in now before the game gets too saturated? Because now's the time to be a part of the EV community and get those tax rebates and grow. We are looking into expanding into both residential and commercial industries in more rural areas so that we can capitalize on expanding, sharing the power so that we can have everyone part of this sustainable future.
Very cool. So, what do you see as the 5-year picture for ChargEasy?
Our 5-year plan is to where our goal is to have over 100,000 users across the United States and then jump fully into the overseas market, which in my personalized, I believe it's almost easier to tap into other foreign countries because they're outside. It's convincing the American people that it's okay to share the power. And who would have thought you would have ever taken an Uber ride with a total stranger, right? Now people put their 16-year-olds in a random vehicle. Why not take the chance, capitalize on it now? And that 5-year span is having at least 50 to 100,000 different charging units spread across the United States into the most rural areas so that we can capitalize on sharing the power in the most densely outskirts of America so that we can share the power, maintain schedules, getting these partnerships, and expanding the power where there is no power currently.
Kelly, you have been a pleasure to chat with today. This is something new that that we didn't know about, so it was great to learn more about it, especially for us and for our audience. Where can people go to find out more about ChargEasy, or if they want to sign up?
We go to chargeasy.org. That's www.chargeasy.org. You can download the app today. We are in the process of rolling out our V2, and we should have our CarPlay done hopefully by the end of the year, and you can start sharing the power. The patent will be fully complete by the end of the year, and we look forward to having a whole bunch of new users just downloading it, checking it out, and seeing how you can start to make passive income today.
All right. Thank you, Kelly, for joining us today. We will put a link in the show notes to ChargEasy if you're interested in checking this out. Thank you all for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe and tap that notification icon before you leave today. Thank you all for joining us in the EV Geek podcast, and we will see you again on our next episode. So long, everyone.